In 1926, a carpenter in Germany was tired of carrying the job to the machine. Every woodworker of that era understood the problem. If you needed to cut a mortise into a timber, you either did it by hand with a chisel and mallet, which was slow and physically exhausting, or you brought the timber to a stationary machine in a workshop, which was impractical for large structural beams, and completely impossible on a construction site. The tools either stayed put or they stayed small. There was no middle ground. A company in the small manufacturing town of Oberndorf am Neckar in Baden-Württemberg, Germany, decided that the middle ground should exist, and in creating it, they invented not just a product, but an entire category of how human beings work with wood. The company was Mafell, and if you work in carpentry, joinery, or precision woodworking, the fact that you have probably heard of Festool, Milwaukee, and Makita, but perhaps never heard of Mafell, is itself one of the most revealing stories in the entire history of the tool industry. Because Mafell has been building arguably the finest portable power tools in the world for nearly a century. They invented the category. And they have spent the decades since refusing to compromise on the specific things that make them extraordinary, even when refusing to compromise meant staying small and staying quiet. While their competitors grew rich and famous, this is the story of Mafell. And by the end of it, you will understand not just why these tools are remarkable, but what the story of this company reveals about what it actually means to build something that lasts. The year the company was founded, 1899, puts it in historical context immediately. Queen Victoria was still alive. The Wright brothers had not yet flown. The internal combustion engine was barely a decade old as a practical technology. And in Oberndorf am Neckar, a town already famous for precision manufacturing, the company that would eventually become Mafell began operations under the name Müller and Faser, which gives you the MA and F of the eventual brand name. The early decades were spent building general woodworking machinery. The company was competent, established, and respected within its regional market. But nothing in those first 27 years suggested that it was about to do something that would change how every carpenter in the industrialized world worked. Then came 1926, and the Type A. The Type A chain mortiser was not an incremental improvement on existing technology. It was a conceptual breakthrough. The machine used a chain-driven cutting mechanism, analogous to a very small, precise chainsaw oriented for plunge cutting, to remove material and create mortise joints in timber. The technology for this had existed in various stationary forms. What had not existed was a version that a single person could pick up, carry to the timber, and operate without a workshop, without fixed mounting, and without the timber needing to travel anywhere. What Mafell built was a machine that could go where the work was. And the implications of that simple reversal were enormous. Roof carpenters working on large, structural timbers that could not be moved to a machine could now bring the machine to the timbers. Contractors working on building sites could perform precision joinery without a workshop. The speed of structural timber work accelerated. The quality of joints improved, and the physical labor of hand-cutting mortises, which was not trivial in large hardwood beams, was dramatically reduced. This was the invention of portable power tools as a category. Before 1926, you had hand tools and stationary machines. After 1926, you had a third option, a machine that combined the power of a stationary machine with the portability of a hand tool. Mafell built that option first. The question that follows from this founding achievement is the one that applies to every company that invents something genuinely important. Do they ride the momentum, grow quickly, take on investment, and scale to dominate the market they created? Or do they do something different? Mafell did something different. The company is still headquartered in Oberndorf am Neckar. Still in the same building, essentially, in the same town where it has operated for 127 years. It employs approximately 500 people. Its tools are sold primarily to professional carpenters, joiners, and structural timber specialists. It has never attempted to compete in the consumer market. It has never been acquired by a larger conglomerate, never taken on private equity investment, never outsourced its manufacturing to lower-cost territories. And here is the manufacturing fact that makes Mafell genuinely unusual in the modern tool industry. Approximately 85% of the components in a Mafell tool are manufactured in-house in the Oberndorf factory. The motors, the housings, the gears, the electronic control systems. The precision components that are the difference between a tool that performs consistently over decades and one that performs adequately for years. To understand why this is unusual, you need to understand how the modern tool industry actually works. The overwhelming majority of power tool brands, including many that are marketed as premium products, are assembly operations rather than manufacturing operations. They design the product. They source the components from a global network of specialist suppliers, many of them located in Asia, where labor and material costs are lower. They assemble the components, apply their branding, and ship the finished product. This model is economically rational. Vertical integration, manufacturing everything you need in one facility, requires enormous capital investment in machinery, tooling, and skilled labor. Sourcing components from specialist suppliers allows you to benefit from economies of scale at the supplier level, to switch suppliers if quality or price becomes uncompetitive, and to redirect capital to product development and marketing rather than manufacturing infrastructure. But the model has a specific weakness. When a problem emerges in field performance, tracing it to its cause requires working through a supply chain that involves multiple external parties, each with their own documentation practices, their own quality control systems, and their own commercial interests in not admitting fault. The feedback loop between a problem in the field and a solution in the factory is long, bureaucratic, and slow. Mafell's model has a different feedback loop. When a Mafell tool has a problem in the field, the engineering team traces it to the specific component and the specific process that produced it. Because that process is happening 50 meters from the engineering office, the conversation between the field problem and the manufacturing solution is immediate. The person who understands why a gear is failing and the person who can change how that gear is manufactured can have that conversation in the same building on the same day. This is the mechanism that produces quality, not intention, not aspiration. The specific organizational structure that makes quality a natural output of the system rather than an aspiration imposed on a system designed for something else. The materials story at Mafell is where this commitment to quality over cost becomes most tangible, and the specific material that illustrates it best is magnesium. Most power tools have plastic housings. This is not because tool manufacturers do not know about better materials. It is because plastic is cheap to produce, easy to mold into complex shapes, sufficient for the structural demands of consumer use, and light enough to keep overall tool weight within acceptable ranges. Mafell uses magnesium die castings for tool housings. Magnesium is a metal that is significantly stronger than plastic, considerably more resistant to the specific kinds of impact and torsional stress that tools experience in professional use, and dramatically more durable over the decades of service life that professional carpenters expect from their tools. It is also significantly more expensive to work with than plastic, requires more sophisticated tooling and manufacturing processes, and adds complexity to the production workflow. Why use it anyway? Because a carpenter who buys a Mafell tool is not buying it for 1 year or 5 years. They are buying a professional instrument that they will use every working day, that will be dropped, exposed to weather, vibrated for thousands of hours, and subjected to the accumulated mechanical stress of a career in structural timberwork. The difference between a plastic housing and a magnesium housing is not visible on day 1. It becomes visible on year 10 or 15 when one tool is still delivering consistent performance and the other has been replaced twice. This is a calculation that requires accepting a lower margin on each unit sold in exchange for a product that genuinely justifies the premium it commands. Mafell charges significantly more for its tools than most competitors. That premium is justified not by marketing or branding, but by the actual measurable performance advantage of superior materials and in-house manufacturing quality. And the company maintains that premium by refusing to substitute cheaper materials, even when cheaper alternatives would be difficult for the buyer to detect at point of purchase. This is the specific kind of corporate integrity that is extraordinarily rare in any industry and essentially invisible in the tool industry at the scale of companies that most buyers encounter. Now let us address the comparison that anyone researching premium professional woodworking tools will inevitably encounter. Mafell versus Festool. Both are German, both are premium priced, both are favored by professional woodworkers who care deeply about tool performance. Both are relatively unknown to casual buyers, compared to Milwaukee, DeWalt, or Makita. And both are frequently described as the best tools in their respective categories. But they are doing very different things. And understanding the difference is essential to understanding what Mafell actually is. Festool's model is built around an ecosystem. The track saw that pairs with the guide rail that pairs with the dust extractor, that pairs with the sustainer storage system that pairs with the MFT workbench. Festool tools are exceptionally capable, but the company's broader value proposition is the integration of those tools into a coherent, compatible, organized system that makes a professional workshop function more efficiently. The connectedness of the system is a significant part of what you're paying for. Mafell's model is built around the individual machine. There is no sustainer system. There is no aspirational ecosystem of coordinating products. There is a tool, and that tool is designed to do one specific thing, or a category of specific things, better than any other tool available for that purpose. The value proposition is the machine itself, not the infrastructure around it. The carpenter who works primarily in a well-equipped fixed workshop, who values organization and system coherence, who wants their tools to store together, connect together, and function as part of an integrated workflow, is probably better served by Festool. The carpenter who works primarily on construction sites, who is building roof structures or timber frames, who needs a machine that survives outdoor conditions, absorbs daily abuse, and delivers maximum power and maximum durability from a standalone tool, is the customer Mafell has been building for since 1926. Neither position is wrong. They are different answers to different questions. And the frequent debate between Mafell and Festool advocates often misses this distinction entirely by treating them as competing for the same customer with the same needs. The product history at Mafell includes several moments where the company did something that the rest of the industry had not thought to do or had not figured out how to do. These category-defining innovations are what make the historical record interesting beyond simple quality comparisons. The Erica pull-push saw is the example that most dramatically illustrates Mafell's capacity to build something genuinely new. A pull-push saw uses a blade that can be drawn toward the operator and then pushed away, generating cutting action in both directions, rather than only on the push or only on the pull stroke. For timber framing work, where large cross-sections need to be cut and the ergonomics of the cutting motion matter, over hours of continuous use, the pull-push mechanism provides a significant advantage in efficiency and physical comfort. Mafell introduced the Erica and had no meaningful competition in this specific product category for 12 years, not because the technology was secret or patent protected in ways that made copying impossible, but because developing the specific engineering required to make it work reliably, consistently, and to professional standards required the kind of integrated manufacturing capability and engineering investment that most companies were not willing to make for what appeared to be a specialized professional market. 12 years without meaningful competition in a product category is an extraordinary statement about the depth of the engineering advantage that Mafell's model produces. You cannot fake that with good marketing. You cannot buy it with aggressive pricing. You produce it by doing the hard engineering work that most companies avoid because the market is smaller and the investment required is large relative to the returns. The PSS 3000 self-propelled panel saw is a different kind of innovation. A panel saw capable of handling large sheet materials has always had an ergonomic problem. The sheets are heavy, and handling them through a cutting operation requires either multiple operators, a mechanical feeding mechanism, or the kind of physical effort that results in inconsistent cuts and physical strain over a working day. The PSS 3000 incorporates a self-propulsion mechanism that moves the saw along the panel, keeping the cutting action consistent and reducing the physical demand of the operation dramatically. Again, the category was not obvious before Mafell defined it. And again, the specific engineering required to make self-propulsion work reliably in a tool used on construction sites under variable conditions by operators with varying skill levels and physical characteristics required exactly the kind of in-house engineering capability and manufacturing integration that Mafell had been building for decades. The corporate independence dimension of Mafell's story deserves specific attention because it stands in stark contrast to the economic history of the tool industry over the past 30 years. The consolidation of the power tool industry has been relentless. Brands that were once independent, once engineering-led, once defined by a specific character and philosophy, have been absorbed into conglomerates, stripped of their manufacturing infrastructure, and repositioned as marketing identities attached to supply chains that have nothing to do with their original engineering traditions. The specific mechanism most commonly responsible for this is private equity. A company reaches a size where its founders or family owners face a liquidity decision, where the capital required to continue investing in manufacturing, infrastructure, and a product development is larger than retained earnings can support, where the offer from an acquiring fund or conglomerate represents a life-changing financial outcome for the people who built the business. The decision to sell is often entirely rational for the individual owners. The consequences for the product and the brand are often catastrophic for the customers who valued what the company represented. Mafell has remained private, family-controlled, accountable to its engineering legacy rather than to a quarterly earnings cycle or a private equity portfolio manager, whose time horizon is 5 to 7 years. This corporate structure is what makes the commitment to magnesium housings possible. No private equity investor would approve the use of more expensive materials that reduce margin without a compelling story about market differentiation that justifies premium pricing. Mafell's justification is simply, we use magnesium because it is better. The people who understand why it is better will pay for it. And we are not interested in the market of people who are making decisions primarily on price. This is a position that is incompatible with the growth targets and margin expansion narratives that characterize private equity ownership. And Mafell's continued independence from that ownership model is the structural reason the company can maintain it. Let us compare the competitive landscape that Mafell occupies against the broader professional tool market with the kind of specificity that reveals what is actually happening. Milwaukee, Makita, and DeWalt collectively dominate the professional power tool market by volume and by revenue. These are companies with global manufacturing operations, aggressive product development cycles, and extensive distribution networks that put their tools in front of every contractor and tradesperson. They are not bad tools. For the vast majority of professional applications, they are entirely adequate. But they are designed with volume in mind. The commercial decisions about materials, manufacturing tolerance, and component quality are made within the constraint of a target price point that maximizes market reach. When a material choice comes down to a component that costs $2 more per unit versus one that will result in measurably longer service life, the decision is made by a team that knows the product needs to hit a specific retail price, and that the additional $2 will not translate into a proportionally higher selling price because the market is price sensitive at the volume being targeted. This is not corruption or incompetence. It is the rational response of a company optimizing for scale in a price-sensitive mass market. Mafell optimizes for a different thing. The professional carpenter, who needs a chain mortiser for structural timber framing, is not price-sensitive in the way that a homeowner buying a drill is price-sensitive. They are buying a tool they will use every working day for potentially 20 years. The difference in purchase price between a Mafell and a lesser alternative is amortized across 20 years of daily professional use. The difference in performance, reliability, and service life over those 20 years is not amortized. It is felt on every job, on every working day, in the consistency of the cut and the reliability of the machine. The Mafell customer understands this calculation intuitively because they have experienced the alternative. They have bought a cheaper tool, used it professionally, felt the performance degradation, replaced it, and done that math. And they have concluded that the Mafell price is not a premium over the alternative. It is the actual cost of the performance they need spread correctly over the service life they will actually receive. The factory in Oberndorf am Neckar is where all of this comes together, and describing it requires resisting the temptation to make it sound romantic or artisanal, because it is neither. It is a precision engineering operation with modern CNC machinery, contemporary quality control systems, and manufacturing processes that are sophisticated rather than nostalgic. What makes it distinctive is the concentration of capability in a single location. The motor winders and the gear machinists and the housing casters and the assembly technicians and the engineering designers and the quality control engineers all work within the same facility. When a design change is required because field performance data suggests an improvement opportunity, the path from that insight to the changed manufacturing process is short because everyone involved in the decision is physically proximate. This proximity is not just efficient, it is culturally important. The people who build the tools and the people who design the tools are in daily contact with each other. The manufacturing technician who notices a consistent difficulty in assembling a specific component can walk to the design office and raise it directly. The engineer who has an idea for a manufacturing improvement can walk to the production floor and see the current process in real time. This is the organizational structure that produced the Type A chain mortiser in 1926, the same structure that produced the Erica 12 years before anyone else could match it, the same structure that produces the current lineup of tools, each of which represents a specific, carefully considered solution to a specific, genuinely understood professional need. 127 years, a single factory, a single town, 500 employees, 85% of components manufactured in-house, magnesium housings on the machines that merit them, no private equity, no conglomerate ownership, no consumer market, no racing to volume at the expense of quality. This is not a business model that maximizes wealth creation in the short term. It is a business model that maximizes the quality of what it builds and derives its commercial sustainability from the loyalty of a professional customer base that understands the difference between a tool and an instrument. Mafell invented portable power tools, not metaphorically, literally. Before 1926, the category did not exist. After 1926, because of a chain mortiser built in Oberndorf am Neckar, the carpenter could bring the machine to the timber rather than bringing the timber to the machine. And the world of construction? And joinery was changed by that reversal in ways that compounded across the following century. The company that invented the category is still building in that category, from the same town, with the same philosophy, under the same ownership model. While the industry it helped create has been consolidated, financialized, and optimized for mass market volume, Mafell has continued doing the thing it did in 1926, building machines that go where the work is, and building them so well that the people who use them every day for decades can trust them completely. In a tool industry that has seen extraordinary change, extraordinary consolidation, and extraordinary pressure to compromise quality for margin, that kind of consistency is not just admirable, it is genuinely extraordinary. And the tools it produces are the proof.